What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing the controversy of the Buffalo Soldiers. Recently online, I've seen a lot of discourse between Native American and African Americans about the history of the Buffalo Soldiers because of this image right here. Apparently Beyoncé wore a shirt with the Buffalo Soldiers on it, and that started this whole little discussion on the internet. And the core of these discussions revolve around whether Buffalo Soldiers should be regarded as heroes for their actions and for fighting in the American Indian Wars and later on in the Spanish-American War. So essentially the story of the Buffalo Soldiers was that after the Civil War, a lot of black Americans that were now emancipated and free to live outside of slavery were now already in the service of the U.S. Army, and a lot of others decided to join the U.S. Army in order to avoid certain hindrances that they may face, going into sharecropping and things like that, where it was a career alternative and it seemed like a more secure option for them to provide safety and security for their families. And while some African American soldiers may have had some grievances against tribes of the South, the 5 civilized tribes that did in fact participate in the enslavement of black Americans, it is highly unlikely that they had this grievance toward any Plains Indians tribes in the Midwest. So the point I'm trying to get across here is that these black soldiers probably did not have any personal grievances against these Plains Indians tribes of the Midwest, but in fact were just trying to make a living off of this newfound career in which they would have to participate in the Indian Wars to evade severe discrimination and persecution in the South. On the flip side of this, I do understand the grievances that some indigenous people may have towards the Buffalo Soldiers, but the fact of the matter is that the Buffalo Soldiers were just an opportunistic employment of freedmen that were looking for a better opportunity, in which the U.S. Army saw this and capitalized on it and used them to fight another disenfranchised group of people, being the Plains tribes. All of these men that fought in the Buffalo Soldier regiments fought in every single war, from the American Indian Wars all the way to World War II. And throughout that whole time, they were coming back home and still facing discrimination, still getting lynched, still dealing with all of the cons of being black in America at that point in time. So really, the Buffalo Soldiers were just an unfortunately gifted and skilled group of soldiers that fought many battles on behalf of the United States military without the proper recognition that many soldiers would later get after segregation. Nonetheless, allegedly, the name Buffalo Soldier itself was granted onto these African American soldiers from the same tribes that they were fighting against because of their somewhat reverence for their warrior tenacity and their warrior skills. In some unfortunate sense, you could say that they had a mutual respect on the battlefield. Nonetheless, I hope you learned something from this video. I hope that you can learn to appreciate and understand the circumstances in which certain people participated in certain battles. And please make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tapped into your roots. Ashe.